Aaron Rodgers got his first win as a New York Jet this past week as they went to Tennessee and beat Will Levis and the Titans, while Ryan's Patriots almost walked away with another victory, making them 2-0 on the season, but fell just short against the Seattle Seahawks this past week. We're going to break down with the Week 2 matchups, how the team's been doing, but also they're going to break down the Week 3 Thursday Night Football matchup between the New England Patriots and New York Jets. But before we get into that, Ryan and I, we just want to say a huge thank you to everybody that subscribed to the channel this past week. We surpassed our goal of 100 subscribers. Not only did we get 100 new subscribers, but we got 200 plus new subscribers, and we're greatly appreciative. So I think this week's goal, let's just not get greedy. Let's see if we can get another 100 new subscribers. So if this is your first time here, help out the channel, hit that subscribe button. And while you're at it, leave a like and a comment. Let us know who you think is going to win this Thursday Night Football game. And Ryan, with that being said, I'm going to throw it over to you here real quick because you're the big Patriots fan, but tough game for you guys at the Patriots, and then you're going up now against Aaron Rodgers and the New York Jets on Thursday Night Football. What are kind of your thoughts on how the Patriots have played so far this season, and also how the Jets have played so far as well?
Yeah, I mean, just kind of looking at everything so far this year, very low expectations coming in. We're able to sneak out a win against the Cincinnati Bengals, and then I don't want to say should have beat the Seahawks because it was definitely a really close game, but in my opinion, some unfavorable calls went the Patriots' way that were pretty close, and a couple bad injuries and bad play calls at poor times, and that was the game. So that's what allowed Seattle to kind of go down and get that overtime field goal. And like all in all, it reminds me a little bit of Arizona last year, where I think they're going to be a really good defensive team that's going to be really competitive in a lot of these games, but are going to do just enough to kind of find a way to lose at the end of the game. So like another thing, like perfect example, they get down in the high red area. Jacoby Brissett gets sacked 2 plays in a row, 1 for 14 yards, puts them into like almost a 50-yard field goal, which has to change how he kicks it. Joey Slice changed how he kicks it, and ball gets blocked because it has to come out at a lower angle. So just like stupid things like that probably would have put the game on ice because the Seahawks would have had to score a touchdown with about a couple minutes left at that point, and they hadn't been converting very well in the red zone. So all in all, I think this is a competitive Patriots team. And looking at the Jets, I mean, they had a really tough opener against the San Francisco 49ers and a sneaky tough game against the Tennessee Titans that they were just able to eke out in week 2. And one of the things that's really concerning, looking at PFF, they have like the second worst run defense grade of any team in the league right now after 2 weeks. And I think a lot of that is definitely due to the first week. But looking at New England running downhill, I mean, they averaged 5.1 yards per carry against the Seahawks, who had a really good run defense last year and going into this year. So that's going to be an interesting matchup there. Also, Christian Gonzalez on Garrett Wilson. That was a really good matchup last year in the first matchup when he was healthy. How does that play out again, especially on a short week? Christian Gonzalez has been locking up top quality receivers in the 5-6 games that he's played. So it's going to be interesting to see what he's able to do.
No, it's going to be a good matchup here because I think both teams, Patriots have shown a lot, and the Jets I think have played. I thought they played solid in week 1, and obviously then pulled away with the victory in week 2 against a good Titans defense. And so let's break down the game here a little bit more. But before we get into that, if you do like to put a couple bucks down on Jets or Patriots game, check out the link down below to the Bet US link. They have great promotions going on right now for all NFL games, and also then too once the NBA MLB season starts wrapping up here as well. There's a lot of going to be fun odds that you can take a look at. But when I look at this game, I look at the odds here. This seems like kind of one of those games where the Jets are probably going to be favored by 3 points because they're the home team on a shortened week.
Yeah.
Because the Patriots, I think, have shown a lot and kind of they can be sneaky good to grind out some of these games. But I also think too, I think there's a little bit more to the Jets as Aaron Rodgers gets a little bit more in rhythm and starts to get his feel back. And I want to talk about Aaron Rodgers here in a second, but to your point earlier before the ad read, I think one of the reasons too that's kind of why that Jets defense is getting lower and lower on the run defensive game. CJ Mosley, he got carted off today, and he actually missed a little bit of time for the 49ers game. but also then to Jermaine Johnson, he is feared to have ruptured his Achilles as he also got carted off again as well. So that's just more defensive problems now that's coming up, particularly too where I think the Jets were one of the teams I think that were really good at all three levels. Obviously, really good secondary, but I thought also really good on the front seven as well.
Yeah.
And if they just keep getting hurt, especially to losing C.J. Mosley, you can make an argument he's one of the top players on that defensive side of the ball. Losing him, then you lose a key edge rusher in Jermaine Johnson as well. I think you don't want to see these injuries start piling up this early on in the season because then it's just going to be a snowball effect. Because Aaron Rodgers, I think, as he gets more experience, he's going to become more mindful of what the offense can and can't do and putting themselves in the best situations. But that being said, though, I'm curious if there is enough firepower that can take them kind of over that finish line. We did see today Braylon Allen, his welcome to the NFL type game. He had a great game against Tennessee. And so that's going to be a scary 1-2 punch with Braylon Allen and then also Breece Hall as well. And so that's just kind of where Aaron Rodgers, with how smart he is, he's still up there as one of the top quarterbacks in the league, just with how great his mind is. It's going to be unique if the defense can just stay healthy and can hang on and be the Jets defense that we know they can be. I'm curious what this Jets team can turn into as they keep on growing, as Aaron Rodgers becomes more mindful of what they can and can't do, as his relationship with Garrett Wilson keeps on getting better and with the other players as well. And then on the flip side, your Patriots too. Say what you want. I mean, like they're 1-1, arguably could be 2-0, but they're going to be no slouch. I think you said it best. They're kind of like the Cardinals team from last year. I think it was last year or 2 years ago. I forget when you said it was.
Yeah, it was last year.
Last year, yeah, where they're just going to grind it out. They got some good young talent on there, but they just play hard. They're not going to take a snap off. And so I think kind of with that, with your Patriots here, kind of what do you think they have to do, and what are some like the in-game matchups that they need to win to beat the Jets?
Yeah, I mean, one of the things that is, I think, going to be most important is that matchup with Quinnen Williams and the Patriots' interior offensive line. How do they stop him? I mean, this Patriots offensive line is probably one of the worst in the league. If not, it's bottom third at best. It's bottom third. And so where do they match up with Quinnen Williams? He has the ability to just completely wreck this Patriots game plan from the get-go. And then they have to run the ball. They don't have the weapons on the outside, especially with Jermaine Johnson and CJ Mosley most likely being out. I'm sure we'll find out more after this video is released. But as with recording Sunday night, I don't want to say anything like for certain. But just running the football, establishing that, getting this Jets defense on their heels, then I think that's when they can really get guys underneath and then maybe potentially set up a big like play action play. But I think running the ball and then defensively getting after Aaron Rodgers, this Jets offensive line, while it is improved, is still not the best in the league. And I definitely think the Patriots with Keon White and Josh Uche and Jeremiah Farms and like some of these defensive tackles can definitely get after Aaron Rodgers, who, as I don't want to say out of sync that he's looked, because I don't think that's the right way to say it, but I think he like rusty is probably the best way I can explain it.
Yeah,
he does not look like he's moving quite the same after that ruptured Achilles. He's definitely a little bit slower. Definitely not as in tune with a lot of his offensive weapons. So I definitely think there is a Jets team that can be taken advantage of here. And so with that being said, let's kind of get into our game predictions here. And so, Tyler, I'll let you kick this week off with your game prediction. Who are you going with here?
So we're on vacation right now in Hilton Head, and so this will be a Thursday night game, so we'll be watching it together. And I'd love nothing more to then also see an angry Ryan Tracy again, as well as it was today after the loss. So I also think, too, I think the Jets are being at home on a shortened week. I think the X factors are going to be the Christian Gonzalez, Garrett Wilson matchup. Yeah. And I also then think, too, how the Jets defense is going to be able to stop the run. I think on a shortened week, I think that it's going to favor the team with maybe a little bit more talent on it. As you've said, I'm taking your point against you. And so I think the Jets maybe just have a little bit more talent. Because on the flip side then, too, I don't know how the Patriots are going to be able to, like with Sauce Gardner lining up against
Tyquan Thornton or Jalen Polk or KJ Osborne. None of those guys are.
DJ Reed as well. I'm going up against the other guy. I think it's going to be tough for them to throw the ball, and I think the Jets are going to be able to stop the run on a shortened week. So I'm going to go with the Jets on this one here, especially Aaron Rodgers' return to MetLife.
Yeah, I'm going to go with the Jets also. I am a big proponent in international games and on Thursday night games that the teams usually with more playmakers win. And I look at I like Ramondre Stevenson. I think he's in the same tier of running back as Brees
He's
Hall,
good.
and like those guys. But you look at the wide receiver, Garrett Wilson is twice the receiver that the Patriots have at this point, and I just don't know. I think Christian Gonzalez could do a really good job against him, but even like a really good job could look like 3 catches for 40 yards and a touchdown. It just happens he wins the 50-50 ball that day. You just don't really know what that looks like. And so for me, I'm going to go with the Jets. I just think they have more playmakers. I think this is going to be an awful game to watch. I think this is going to be a 13-10.
I feel so
matchup.
bad for Kirk Herbstreit and Al Michaels. I'm trying to think of it's been 3 years now of Amazon Prime on Thursday Night Football.
Yeah, something like that.
How many good games have they caught? I'm trying to think off the top of my head. But even last week, the Dolphins-Bills, I was like, just a absolute horrible game to watch. Bills dominated.
Yeah.
I feel so bad for them. They get all these horrible games.
No, yeah, and that's just kind of how I feel. This might be, and when I say a horrible game to watch, it could be a defensive masterclass. Yeah. It's going to be 13-10. It's going to be not entertaining at all. Lots of 3 and outs, lots of punts. So if you like special teams, this will probably be the one for you. But other than that'll be about it. So let's go ahead, wrap it up here. We're both taking the Jets on Thursday Night Football. If you guys have not already, please go ahead and like and subscribe. Leave a comment down below on what you thought of the Week 2 matchups, and let us know who you think is going to come out ahead in this matchup between the New England Patriots and the New York Jets. And then that we'll see you guys next time.